Imagine standing in the middle of a huge crowd in Argentina, surrounded by thousands of people who are all waiting for the exact same moment you are. The air feels electric. Everyone is holding something: phones, posters, paintings, handmade gifts, even letters they've written at home hoping they'll somehow get them into the right hands. Everyone is pushing a little closer, stretching their arms higher, adjusting their angles just to get a peek. And even with all this noise and chaos, you can feel that the entire crowd is connected by one thing: the person they're waiting for. The person they've been dreaming of seeing in real life. The person whose name is echoing through the crowd like a heartbeat. And in the middle of that energy, after what feels like hours, he finally steps out. Johnny Depp. And the entire place breaks loose like fireworks. It's not just excitement. It's emotion. People scream. People cry. People literally shake as they try to capture that single moment. Some are holding their chests because they can't believe he's really there. Some look like they're about to faint. Others are laughing uncontrollably out of pure joy. This isn't a normal celebrity welcome. This is something else. Something intense. Something personal. And the moment Johnny steps onto that Argentine soil, you can see it in his face, he feels it too. This is not just another appearance for him. It's different. And here's where it gets interesting. Because during this trip, Johnny said something honest, something emotional, something so unexpected, that it shocked fans, surprised his own team, and sent the internet into a frenzy. It wasn't a dramatic statement. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't said in front of a big camera. It was quiet. Soft. Real. And that's what made it so powerful. And today, we're going to walk through exactly what he said, why he said it, and why this moment in Argentina has become one of the most talked about Johnny Depp moments in years. Now let's go back to that scene outside the venue. The sun is blazing. Security is doing everything they can to create a path for Johnny. But fans keep breaking into tears, shouting his name, reaching their hands out for just a second of contact. Johnny, being who he is, tries to acknowledge as many people as possible. He waves. He smiles. He touches a few hands. He nods at the paintings people spent hours creating. But behind that smile, something else is happening. Something deeper. You can see it if you look closely enough. There's a softness in his eyes. A warmth. A kind of relief that's hard to describe. Eventually, he makes it backstage. Away from the cameras. Away from the chaos. This is often the moment when celebrities take a breath, reset their expression, and prepare for the next part of the schedule. But this time, it's different. Johnny sits down with a small group of local organizers. No big PR teams. No journalists. No rehearsed talking points. Just a simple, calm moment. And that's when the confession happens. He leans back slightly, feeling the air in the room quiet down, and he says the words that stunned everyone listening. "I feel more at home here than anywhere else these days." At first, a couple of people in the room weren't sure if they heard him correctly. Because this wasn't the usual polite celebrity line. It didn't sound like something he said for effect. It sounded honest. Raw. Real. And then he follows it with something even deeper. "People here see me, not the headlines." And suddenly the whole room feels different. Because if you follow Johnny's journey even a little bit, you understand how heavy those words are. You understand what he's been through. The endless media storms. The global court battles. The noise, the pressure, the accusations, the public judgment. You understand how much it must mean for him to find a place where he feels seen as a person instead of a headline. That kind of emotional truth doesn't just slip out by accident. Imagine being one of the people in that room, hearing a man who's lived decades in the spotlight admit something that vulnerable. Something that suggests he's been carrying exhaustion, disappointment, maybe even loneliness, for a long time. But Argentina, this place, these people, gave him a feeling he hadn't felt in years. That sense of belonging. That sense of being accepted for who he is, not what the world has said about him. And you can see it in the videos from that day. Johnny isn't rushing through fans. He isn't keeping his head down. He isn't wearing the guarded expression we've seen so many times before. Instead, his smiles are longer. His eye contact is deeper. He takes a fan's drawing into his hands and actually stops to look at it. He holds someone's hand for several seconds. He leans in when someone speaks, actually listening. These are tiny gestures, but they say everything. They show a man who feels safe, who feels loved, who feels appreciated in a way he hasn't felt in a long time. And this wasn't just a public facade. A staff member from the tour later shared something emotional that happened later that night during a small dinner. The cameras were gone. The crowd was gone. It was just a private table, soft lighting, and a handful of people. And during that quiet moment, Johnny opened up again. His voice was soft, thoughtful, and he said something that adds even more weight to his Argentina confession. I haven't felt this kind of love in a very long time. Imagine how much he must have been holding inside for those words to come out. Imagine being someone who's been judged, attacked, misrepresented, misunderstood over and over again for years. Someone who's had their private pain turned into public entertainment. Someone who never had the chance to just breathe without wondering what article or rumor would follow next. And then suddenly, he walks into a country where people don't want anything from him except to let him know that they love him. That they see him. That they stand by him. That simple, pure human affection must have hit him straight in the heart. But that wasn't the only emotional moment. During one of his scheduled meetings, Johnny did something incredibly rare. Instead of sticking to the agenda, instead of talking about his projects or his schedule or his tour, he extended the meeting because he wanted to talk about life. Not fame. Not work. Life. What he's learned. What he's experienced. What he feels. That kind of transparency is something celebrities almost never give unless they feel genuinely safe. And here's something fans don't know yet, but insiders do. That confession he made in Argentina. The raw honesty. The emotional clarity. It didn't end there. A close friend later revealed that Johnny is preparing a special message for his fans. Not a movie announcement. Not a scripted interview. Something heartfelt. Something personal. Something connected to what he felt during this trip. Something that continues this emotional moment he opened up about. That's how much Argentina impacted him. It didn't just make him feel comfortable. It changed something inside him. And this is why people can't stop talking about what happened. Because this wasn't a dramatic event. This wasn't a scandal. This wasn't a public meltdown or a viral moment meant to grab views. This was a quiet confession whispered in a small room. And quiet moments like that often tell the biggest stories. Think about how many times celebrities say things just to sound good on camera. How many times they give polished interviews with perfect, empty answers. But this wasn't that. This was one of the most famous men in the world admitting that he feels displaced in many parts of his life, but found comfort in a country that welcomed him with open arms. That's not something you can rehearse. That's something you feel. And as fans continue to watch the videos from Argentina, you can see the evidence everywhere. The softness in his smile. The way he walks with ease. The way he looks around as if soaking in a moment he doesn't want to forget. The way he touches people's hands gently instead of rushing past. The way he pauses as if letting himself experience every second. That's not performance. That's emotion. Now, fans everywhere are wondering what this confession truly means. Is he hinting at wanting a quieter life? Is he stepping away from environments that drain him emotionally? Is he looking for places where he can feel free instead of judged? Is this the beginning of a new chapter in his life? With Johnny, it's always hard to tell. He keeps his cards close. He guards his heart carefully. But some moments speak louder than clarity. And this moment in Argentina, it spoke volumes. And the truth is, anyone can understand what he's feeling. Because it doesn't matter how famous someone is. Everyone wants to be seen for who they truly are. Everyone wants to feel safe. Everyone wants to feel appreciated, not for what the world thinks of them, but for who they really are inside. And that's exactly what he felt when he said, "People here see me, not the headlines." That one sentence says everything about what he's been carrying. Johnny Depp's confession in Argentina wasn't a publicity move. It wasn't a dramatic stunt. It was a man who has lived through storms finally finding a quiet place to rest. A man who's been misjudged finally feeling understood. A man who's been hurt finally feeling embraced. And that's why this story exploded across the internet. Because people could feel the truth in it.